Hello, candle lovers. Thank you so much for joining me today. My name is Greg, and this is All About Candles, and I have a review for you today from Goose Creek. This candle is called That's So Vanilla. God. Ever since I first saw this candle was released online, whenever I read it, all I hear in my head is that's so vanilla, like pure Valley girl. I was pretty excited about this candle from the Goose Creek Luxuries collection because I love vanilla fragrances. I always say on this channel, I will hoe myself out for a good vanilla fragrance, and Goose Creek in particular, I think does great vanilla candles. They are somehow able to make their vanilla candles project and give off a strength and throw that a lot of other companies just aren't able to do. So this was part of their like luxury collection. I ordered like 6 or 7 candles from this collection. This is the first one that I finished. I have to say I've been enjoying all of the candles from this collection so far. It's a really, really nice sort of simple contemporary presentation. This isn't a wraparound label. This is actually like a colored vessel with a really simple like text box in the middle, cute black lid. I will say one thing that I noticed when I was burning this candle is that there is a little bit of an oddness when this candle is burning. There's an opaqueness to the jar, and it's a little bit like inconsistently opaque. If that makes any sense, I will put up some video of this candle burning, so hopefully you'll be able to see what I mean. There was just sort of an inconsistency in sort of the sheerness of the glass on this candle, which is definitely very nitpicky, but it didn't really look quite as nice when it was burning as I wanted it to. But ultimately, it is what is inside that counts. Goose Creek is calling this a luxury collection. I think that Goose Creek does tend to do a fair bit of like hocus pocus when it comes to their candle collections, you know, like a luxury collection, an aromatherapy collection, an odor eliminating collection. I believe there's a lot more marketing behind that than there is like actual science or like adjustment of wax or fragrance formula going on. You know what I mean? This was a really nice, solid vanilla candle, but was there anything about it compared to other Goose Creek candles that I thought really delivered on a sort of higher level, luxury sort of vibe? Not really. To me, and I've started burning almost all of the candles from this line. For me, they're all pretty much regular Goose Creek candles. I will say that the fragrance selection is perhaps a little bit above par with what you get from a Goose Creek collection. You usually have some real duds in like the larger Goose Creek collections, and there hasn't been a candle in this collection that I would consider a dud so far, but definitely one of the highlights for me has been this vanilla candle. So let's just start talking about That's So Vanilla. The scent notes on it are vanilla cream, pink pepper, and cashmere woods. And it's a really, really nice, well done, nicely balanced, straightforward vanilla candle. Once again, is there something about this vanilla fragrance that sort of gives me an elevated, luxurious vibe? No, not really. It's pretty par for the course as far as a gourmandy vanilla candle from Goose Creek goes, but it is really nice. There is a little bit of like a soft, like I'd say it's almost like, cashmere white woodiness to it, which is actually kind of like the top note in here. The middle note is like that vanilla note. And then in the base, you do get something just a teeny little bit like peppery and spicy, a little bit of added depth into the base of this fragrance that I did appreciate, yeah. but it is a very gourmandy vanilla. It's not like sort of a fresh, bright, like vanilla bean fragrance. It's also not a bakery fragrance. It's just gourmand as in like a sweet vanilla gourmand candle, you know? And I appreciate that. I appreciate that it's not bakery. It does remind me a little bit of the Vanilla Fluff candle from Goose Creek, but that Vanilla Fluff candle is a little bit sweeter than this one is, and I think it's that sort of peppery note on the bottom that separates it from that Vanilla Fluff candle. In fact, it could just be that Vanilla Fluff candle with a little bit of added depth to the fragrance in the form of that slightly peppery note, and also sort of a little bit of a bright woodsy kind of cashmere vibe on top. But ultimately, it's just a really, really good, lovely, warm, sort of enveloping vanilla fragrance. I really, really enjoyed it. This is a repurchase for me, you guys. This candle also performed really well, all the way down to the bottom. I burned it all the way down until I could see the wick nickels. Pretty clean performance for a Goose Creek candle. That being said, I always limit my burn times on Goose Creek candles to like 2 hours, sometimes less than 2 hours, and I really didn't want to screw this candle up, so I was really monitoring it and making sure that I was blowing it out before it even had the chance to start getting a little bit dirty, a little bit murky, a little bit sooty. None of that happened, but that's in part because I really stayed on top of it. At the very end there, the last burn, you can see that the wax did get just a little bit discolored, but I didn't notice that happening when I was like burning the candle. From top to bottom, it was a pretty nice, clean performance, but I always have to give the caveat that I really limit my burn times on these candles, and I trim those wicks down. I hear from a lot of people in the comment section that the Goose Creek candles are just way too dirty and too sooty for them, and in my experience, that is what happens if you let them burn, 3-4 hours. If you're not trimming the wicks down to little nubs, yeah, Goose Creek, they are one of the dirtier performing candles on the market for sure. You can only mitigate that by limiting burn times and staying on top of trimming the wicks. Like, that's really all there is to it. The payoff for that, though, is that I have got to say that I think that Goose Creek are releasing the strongest candles out there these days. So the strength and throw on That's So Vanilla was probably a 7 in my more open area, easily a 7 in my more open concept space, and that's really good for a straightforward vanilla fragrance. I put this in the bedroom where it got up to an 8 for strength and throw. So one of the strongest vanilla candles that I've burned in a long time. In fact, the last time that I burned a vanilla candle that was this straightforward and this strong, it was that Vanilla Fluff candle from Goose Creek. Goose Creek, quite simply, in my opinion, are putting out the strongest candles on the market right now. And I'm talking Kringle, Homeworks, Yankee, Bath and Body Works. These are the strongest and dirtiest candles that you can get. But you can mitigate that dirtiness. Like I said, limit your burn times, trim those wicks, and in that case, maybe Goose Creek is the brand for you. I loved this candle. I really enjoyed it. Yes, it is annoying that, you can't really let them burn for very long, but this fragrance was so nice and it performed so well. I'm willing to make concessions, Man, and I actually think that this little bit that's left is gonna go under my candle lamp tonight. I really enjoyed this. I have repurchased this candle. It's gonna be coming in my next Goose Creek order, and this is a recommendation for you if you really enjoy a nice, straightforward, warm vanilla fragrance. I don't have that much bad to say about this one. It was pretty good, you guys. Anyways, that's all I've got for you folks today. Thank you so much for joining me. You can follow me on Instagram at Aboot Candles and email me your burning questions to allabootcandles@gmail.com. If you could hit me up with a like, a comment, subscribe to my channel, that would mean the world to me. And until next time, my dear gorgeous and beautiful candle loving friends, let's burn some candles and bitch about it. Thanks, you guys. Bye now.